Hi, today I'm going to teach you how to cleanse, program and charge your crystals. So stay watching. Hi, it's Karen. And as I mentioned in my intro, I'm going to teach you how to cleanse, charge and program your crystals. Now this here is an amethyst. It has already been cleansed, and the way to cleanse an amethyst is by simply running it under a cool running tap and using a simple toothbrush with nothing on it. Just gently go over the actual crystal just to remove any oils or any type of debris like dust. So you just cleanse it like this, the same as you would with diamonds. So when you've got diamond rings and everything, you use the toothbrush on them. Some people actually use toothpaste, and you shouldn't. You should just use like a little soft brush, toothbrush, and you just go over the crystal itself. Now you run it under the cool water, so that way it's removing any oils, as I mentioned, because our skin actually produces oil. It produces an acidic oil, and this can remove the luster from our crystals. Now the next thing you need is sea salt, and you also need a small bowl. Now I've already prepared this one with the sea salt in it, and I'm making like a little center for where the crystal will go. So as you can see, there is the center part where I'm going to place the crystal in that area right there. Okay, so the crystal is sitting within the salt itself. So I'll just move that over and just make the ring of salt around the crystal. You see that? Okay, so once we've done that, what we're going to do is place it on a windowsill or on a table that is going to be receiving the moonlight. The best time to charge the crystals is when there's a full moon, because the strength of the moon is going to be at its highest when there's a full moon. And as you all know, the moon controls the tides, and of course, because we're made up of 70% water, so are crystals. They're actually... So once we've done this and we've left it overnight, we can also continue that charging process by having it sit the whole day in the sunlight. So it's receiving the strength of the moonlight, and it's also receiving the strength of the sunlight. Now, if you leave it too long in the sun, it can actually fade the crystal itself, depending on the elements. Sometimes if they're a very deep colored kind of crystal, the color can be, removed. So just be very careful with leaving it in the sunlight direct for too long. If it's sort of like semi-shade and then sunlight, fine. But if it's in direct sunlight, once we've done that, we can leave it a couple of nights in the moonlight, and of course again in the sun. So depending on how long it's been without any charging, you might need a couple of nights in the moonlight for this to be a complete charge. So if you think about, Some crystals have been stuck in drawers, they've been stuck in cupboards, they don't get any light upon them. And just like us, if we don't have sunlight, we're not going to have vitamin D, which can affect our bones and make our bones become very soft and brittle. Which means that, if you don't have enough vitamin D, you'll end up with osteoporosis and so on. So we need to have vitamin D. And even animals, if you think about dogs, they don't get their vitamin D the same way we do. They actually get it on their coat, and that's when they're licking their coat, they're getting the vitamins off the coat. So in case you didn't know that. So going back to the crystal, once we've charged it, so let's just say we've left it in the moonlight for the last couple of nights and also a full day in semi-sunlight. So it's still got its beautiful deep color. It's got parts of it that are very deep and so on. So of course it will be dry by then. So you remember when you put it down in the actual crystal salt, it's going to still be damp because you've cleansed it under the running tap. But by the time you go to program it, it will be dry. Now, when you program it, it's just a simple case of holding it in your hand like so and telling it what you want it to do. So, for example, if you're wanting to attract more money into your life, or if you're wanting to attract a job that you've been wanting to get, or you're wanting a specific item of, like a new car, or you've been, wanting some other thing to happen in your life. It could be that you're wanting love, health, whatever it is. Don't overload your crystal with certain requests. Just keep it to one, because each crystal must have its own program basically. Never ever let anyone else hold your crystal, because it's like you're transferring whatever you've programmed it to another person. So always make sure that you keep it safe from other people. Otherwise you're going to find yourself in a situation where you might as well just give it away. Now with that crystal, just hold it in your hand and say, you are required to provide me, and then you state your request. So you say that a few times, and then you just hold the crystal, look into the crystal, gaze at it, study it, and as you're studying it, just say in your mind what, again, your intention for that crystal is, what you're wanting it to do for you, what you're wanting it to bring to you. Because remember, they are like a natural type of amplifier for your circumstances. Just keep in mind though, if you are on a downer when you're programming, it can amplify your situation. So it's really important to try and have a nice, clear sense of, intent at the time. If you are depressed, I probably wouldn't do a program on that crystal until you're feeling comfortable, because it's really important, whatever intent you're giving your crystal, it's going to amplify the situation. So always remember that you must be in a good frame of mind whenever you're doing this. Otherwise it's going to amplify a negative situation. Even though they are a very positive, beautiful stone, they can amplify whatever's going on. So it's always best to wait until you are feeling at peace with yourself. Perhaps you can use a crystal just as a way of, meditating and breathing relaxation into yourself. If you are interested in self-guided relaxation, I actually have some that I've done myself. I have those up on the website for sale with an instant download. So if you're interested in that, all you need to do is visit the website. But I'm not here to promote that. What I would like to do is discuss also about some of the things that can go wrong with the crystal. Some things that can go wrong, as I mentioned, is if you're programming a crystal in a negative mood, it will increase your negativity. It will increase the bad things into your life. So again, keep it simple and make sure that when you're doing the programming that you're in a positive frame of mind and your intent is for good. Don't use it for evil. Otherwise it will just rebound back to you. So remember, whatever you're programming the crystal, it is intended for you to receive, not for anyone else. So if you're programming a crystal and you're saying, I want so and so to lose their job or whatever other thing, then just know it's going to come back on you. Simple as that. Each time you're not using the crystal, just simply place it in that light dish with the salt around it, like so, and just leave it there so that until you've actually had fulfilled what you've programmed that crystal to do for you, then it will just stay in that bowl. You can change the salt if you wish. Usually salt is pure anyway, so it really doesn't need to be changed, unless of course it gets dust and stuff like that, but hopefully you're able to prevent that from happening just by keeping a nice clean home. It's really important to keep a nice clean environment so the crystal feels comfortable in delivering what you're asking, because remember, they're positive and it really asks one thing of you, and that is to be positive as well. So the other thing that can go wrong with crystals is if you drop a crystal and you crack the crystal, it can lose part of its energy. It goes into shock and it can just sort of like stop working. So it's always important to handle them with care, believe it or not. You know, I thought the same thing first as well, until I dropped one and just nothing worked. It was just like it did not feel even any energy coming off it. So I thought, wow, you know, this is crazy, but there you go. So crystals are a part of life. And if you think about our body, we have crystals in our body as well. So we are very much connected with nature and life in general. And just looking at it, it feeds your soul. It really is pretty, and it can actually do so much for you if you treat it well. So let me know how you go with cleansing, charging and programming your crystal. And when things begin to manifest, then all you need to do is simply run it under the water, charge it again, and program it for something else to manifest in your life. So that's it. That's how simple it is. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them down below and I will answer them.